15 Stoic reminders to tell yourself every day. Every morning, before the weight of the world presses down, we face a choice. We can stumble into the day, letting circumstances drag us wherever they want, or we can step forward with clarity, discipline, and a mindset forged in strength. The Stoics, philosophers like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus, knew this well. They lived in turbulent times, surrounded by war, betrayal, disease, and uncertainty. Yet they cultivated peace inside themselves by practicing daily reminders. Today, we live in a different world, but the struggles are eerily similar. Instead of armies at our borders, we face constant distractions, endless notifications, social pressure, and the creeping anxiety of comparison. Instead of famine, many of us battle overconsumption and excess. And instead of emperors ruling empires, we juggle bosses, deadlines, bills, and responsibilities. The truth is simple. Every day, we need mental armor. Just as soldiers sharpen their swords, we must sharpen our minds. That's where Stoic reminders come in. They are not empty affirmations. They are practical truths, sometimes harsh, always grounding, that pull us back to what matters. In this two-part guide, I'll walk you through 15 things you should tell yourself every day, inspired by Stoic philosophy. But unlike a dry list of quotes, I'll weave them with personal commentary, real-world application, and the raw honesty the Stoics demanded. This is not about memorizing Marcus Aurelius's meditations. It's about living with intention in a chaotic world. So let's begin. 1. This day might be my last. The Stoics practiced memento mori, the remembrance of death, not to be morbid, but to sharpen their sense of urgency. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." Think about that. You woke up this morning, but not everyone did. Someone, somewhere didn't open their eyes today. Their plans, arguments, dreams, all gone in an instant. We live as if time is infinite, scrolling, complaining, waiting for the right moment. But the truth is, no moment is guaranteed. If you truly remembered that today could be your last, how differently would you act? Would you waste hours arguing online? Would you obsess over what someone thinks of your clothes? Or would you finally start that book, call that loved one, or pursue that dream you've been postponing? This reminder cuts both ways. On one hand, it's a sobering warning. Stop wasting time. On the other, it's liberating. Most of what you fear or obsess over doesn't matter. Mortality is the great filter. It strips away the trivial and leaves only the essential. Tell yourself each morning, this might be my last day. Let me live it with courage, clarity, and love. 2. I cannot control everything, but I can control myself. Epictetus, once a slave, built his entire philosophy around one idea, the dichotomy of control. Some things are up to us, some things are not. Peace comes from focusing only on what's within our control. The Stoics weren't dreamers. They knew the world is messy. Wars break out, diseases spread, people betray us, the market crashes. None of that is fully ours to command. What we do own is our attitude, choices, and actions. This is radical responsibility. It means if someone insults you, the insult itself is outside your control, but your reaction belongs to you. If your company downsizes, the event isn't yours, but how you adapt is. Even pain, illness, and hardship can be met with dignity or despair. Most suffering comes not from events themselves, but from our judgment of them. By repeating daily, "I control myself, not the world," we reclaim power. We stop wasting energy on uncontrollable storms and instead steer our own ship. This is not passivity, it's focus. The Stoic doesn't give up on changing what can be changed. He simply refuses to be enslaved by what cannot. 3. Discomfort is my training ground. In modern life, comfort is everywhere. Climate control, endless entertainment, food delivered with a click. Yet the more comfortable we become, the weaker our spirit grows. The Stoics practiced voluntary discomfort. Seneca would deliberately eat plain food, sleep on the floor, or wear rough clothing, reminding himself that he could endure hardship. Marcus Aurelius, despite being emperor, endured cold campaigns with soldiers instead of pampering himself. Why? Because when comfort becomes the default, any inconvenience feels like a tragedy. If you can't handle hunger, rejection, or boredom, how will you handle real crisis? Discomfort is not the enemy, it's the training ground. A cold shower, a skipped meal, a tough workout, or even just delaying gratification, all these build resilience. When life inevitably throws real hardship at you, you'll already be forged. So remind yourself, Every discomfort is training, every hardship is sharpening me. 4. Most people are prisoners of opinion. I choose freedom. One of Marcus Aurelius's greatest insights was how much of life we waste trying to please others. We obsess over what strangers might think, over how we appear, over whether we fit in. But here's the paradox. Everyone else is too busy worrying about themselves to care deeply about us. You think they're judging your haircut, your clothes, your mistakes. In reality, they're replaying their own embarrassments in their head. Living by opinion is slavery. You hand over your peace to the shifting moods of others. The Stoic path is freedom, doing what is right, not what is popular. This doesn't mean arrogance or isolation. It means rooting your life in principles, not applause. A person who lives by virtue can walk calmly through both praise and criticism, knowing neither defines him. Tell yourself, I choose freedom from opinion. My compass is virtue, not applause. 5. Every obstacle is fuel. To most people, obstacles are enemies. To the Stoic, they are teachers. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Modern readers might recognize this as the root of the phrase, "The obstacle is the way." When something blocks you, it doesn't end your path, it becomes your path. Lost your job? That's the opening to develop skills, to pivot, to build something new. Betrayed by a friend? That's the chance to practice forgiveness, boundaries, and wisdom in choosing companions. Illness? The chance to cultivate patience and gratitude for health when it returns. Life is not meant to be free of obstacles. A life with no resistance produces weakness, but a life that meets obstacles with courage produces greatness. Every morning, remind yourself, obstacles are fuel. They do not stop me, they shape me. 6. My desires can enslave me if I don't master them. Seneca warned against becoming a slave to luxury. Epictetus cautioned that if you crave something outside your control, you've already surrendered your freedom. Desire itself is not evil. We need goals, ambition, attraction, and drive. But unchecked desire for wealth, status, food, or pleasure easily turns into chains. The more you need, the less free you are. Think of someone addicted to validation. Every like, every comment, every compliment controls their mood. Or someone addicted to luxury. They can't enjoy life without the perfect car, clothes, or vacation. They are not free. They are owned by their cravings. The Stoic practice is not to kill all desire, but to master it. To be able to enjoy a glass of wine without needing it. To succeed in business without being destroyed if you fail. To love deeply without turning that love into possession. Tell yourself, I will master my desires, or they will master me. 7. Anger is weakness disguised as strength. We often think anger shows power. In reality, it usually shows the opposite, a lack of control. Epictetus said, any person capable of angering you becomes your master. That's a brutal truth. If someone can trigger rage in you, they control you. The Stoics didn't deny anger's existence, they felt it too. But they saw it as poison, a temporary madness that clouds reason. A general who makes decisions in anger loses wars. A parent who disciplines in anger harms trust. A leader who governs in anger creates chaos. The strong person is not the one who lashes out, but the one who stays calm while others lose control. To remain steady under insult, rejection, or betrayal, that is true strength. Every morning, remind yourself anger is weakness, calm is power. 8. Gratitude turns everything into enough. In a world of endless comparison, gratitude is revolutionary. Seneca observed that wealth is not about having much, but about needing little. The Stoics taught that happiness comes not from getting more, but from appreciating what you already have. Think about your morning. Did you wake up in a bed? Millions sleep on the ground? Did you drink clean water? Billions don't have that luxury. Did you eat today? You are richer than kings of old who could not order food at will. Gratitude is not about denying ambition. It's about never letting ambition blind you to the abundance already present. If you always think happiness lies in the next milestone, you'll never reach it. But if you practice gratitude, even a modest life feels full. Tell yourself, gratitude makes today enough. 9. Other people's success does not diminish my own. One of the deepest sources of human misery is comparison. We live in an age where social media constantly throws curated highlights in our faces. Someone else's promotion, perfect vacation, or flawless relationship. Without realizing it, we measure our lives against illusions and suffer twice. First, because we underestimate our own progress. Second, because we inflate others' achievements. The Stoics would call this a form of slavery, being chained to the opinions and fortunes of others. Marcus Aurelius himself warned against envy, reminding us that you have power over your mind, not outside events. Telling yourself daily that other people's success does not diminish your own is liberating. Imagine walking into a room and instead of feeling threatened by someone's brilliance, you feel inspired. Their win is not your loss. Their shine does not dull your light. This mindset turns comparison into gratitude. If someone achieves greatness, it shows what's possible. If someone surpasses you in skill, it challenges you to grow. If someone receives praise, it doesn't rob you of your dignity. In fact, envy blinds you to your own blessings. A Stoic would say, "Why covet what is theirs when you are neglecting what is yours?" Modern reflection. The next time you scroll through social media and feel that pang of jealousy, pause. Whisper to yourself, "Their story is theirs. My story is mine. Both can coexist." 10. I cannot control how long I live, only how well I live. This is perhaps the most haunting and empowering Stoic truth. Life's length is not in our hands. We don't decide the hour of our birth, and rarely do we choose the hour of our death. What we do control is the space between the qualities, not the quantity. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." And Marcus Aurelius echoed, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." Modern life often revolves around extension. Healthier diets, exercise routines, supplements, medical technology, all aimed at prolonging existence. But the Stoics would ask, what good is a long life if lived poorly? Think of someone who lives 90 years, but in resentment, anger, or distraction. Compare that to someone who lives 40 years with courage, creativity, and love, which is truly longer. By repeating this mantra, you remind yourself to focus less on years added and more on days well spent. The Stoic art is not longevity, but nobility of living. Practical exercise. Each morning, instead of thinking about how many years you might have left, ask, if today were my last day, would I live it differently? Then live accordingly. 11. I must master myself before I can hope to influence the world. The desire to change others is universal. We want to fix our children, our partners, our leaders, our colleagues. We want the world to bend to our vision of justice, truth, or order. Yet Stoicism flips this ambition. Before you can hope to shape the world, you must shape yourself. Epictetus put it bluntly, "No man is free who is not master of himself." What does this mean? It means discipline before demand. You can't ask others to be honest if you lie. Temperance before teaching. You can't preach balance while indulging in chaos. Calm before counsel. You can't expect people to listen to your wisdom if you are enslaved by anger. Modern culture rewards appearances. You can be a motivational speaker who secretly lacks discipline. You can be a politician who campaigns on morality while privately failing it. But Stoicism insists true influence begins at home with your own character. By repeating this daily, you remind yourself that your life is your greatest argument. Your actions carry more weight than your words. A person who governs their impulses, tempers their speech, and lives with integrity wields quiet but undeniable power. Reflection. Before trying to fix the world, fix your morning. If you cannot master your schedule, your temper, or your tongue, how can you master nations? 12. Wealth, fame, and power are not the measure of a good life. It is astonishing how persistent the illusion of external success is. Thousands of years separate us from the Roman Empire, yet we still chase the same trifles: wealth, fame, and power. In Marcus Aurelius' time, senators scrambled for recognition, generals for glory, and merchants for gold. Today, influencers scramble for followers, CEOs for market dominance, and workers for raises. But the Stoics cut through the mirage. These are not measures of a good life. Virtue is, integrity is, tranquility is. Seneca warned that riches enslave those who worship them. Epictetus mocked fame as something given by fools to fools. And Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man alive, often reminded himself that emperors too become dust, their legacies forgotten. Think about it. How many names from history do you recall? A few dozen? A few hundred? Out of billions of souls who lived, nearly all are forgotten. Even the mighty vanish into silence. So, why enslave your heart to the applause of strangers? Why define success by metrics you do not control? Practical Stoic metric. Instead of asking, how much do I own or how many know me, ask, did I act with justice today? Was I kind when I could have been cruel? Did I govern my desires or did they govern me? That is the measure of a good life. 13. Time is my most precious resource. We are misers with money, but spendthrifts with time. We guard our wallets, but not our hours. We obsess over interest rates, but waste days in trivialities. The Stoics constantly warned against this. Seneca especially was ruthless. People are frugal in guarding their personal property, but as soon as it comes to squandering time, they are most wasteful of the one thing in which it is right to be stingy. When you remind yourself each morning that time is your most precious resource, you change your perspective. Suddenly, that mindless scroll on your phone feels like theft from yourself. That unnecessary argument feels like a poor investment. That meaningful walk with a friend feels like true wealth. Money lost can be regained. Opportunities missed may return, but time, once spent, is gone forever. Modern reflection. Look at your calendar. If you don't prioritize your time, someone else will fill it with theirs. Protect it, defend it, spend it where it matters most. 14. The world owes me nothing. Entitlement is poison. It whispers, I deserve better. Life should treat me differently. People should give me what I want. But Stoicism dismantles this illusion. The universe owes us nothing. We are not guaranteed wealth, health, fairness, or even tomorrow. This isn't cruelty, it's freedom. Because when you expect nothing, every blessing feels like a gift. A meal, a friend's smile, a sunrise, all become treasures, not entitlements. Marcus Aurelius often reminded himself that the world unfolds according to nature, not according to our wishes. Complaining that life is unfair is like complaining that fire burns or that winter is cold. Reality is what it is. By repeating this phrase daily, you arm yourself against bitterness. Instead of resenting what you lack, you learn to marvel at what you have. Instead of demanding life bend to your desires, you bend yourself to life's reality and find strength there. Practical shift. Each time you feel wronged, pause and ask, what was I expecting the world to owe me? Often, you'll find it was an illusion. 15. Death is not to be feared, but to be understood. Finally, we come to the most difficult reminder. Death. To modern ears, death talk feels morbid, depressing. But for the Stoics, contemplating death was not about despair. It was about freedom. By rehearsing mortality, you break its grip on your heart. You stop living as if immortal, and you start living as if every breath is a gift. Epictetus said, I cannot escape death, but I can escape the fear of it. Marcus Aurelius, do not act as if you had 1,000 years to live. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good. To fear death is to waste life. To accept death is to magnify life. Imagine living with this daily mantra, death is not to be feared. Suddenly, petty grudges seem foolish. Endless procrastination feels absurd. The pressure to prove yourself melts away. Instead, you live with urgency and grace. You love more deeply. You waste less. You choose what matters. Modern reflection, death is not the opposite of life. It is its boundary, its frame. Without death, life would lose urgency and meaning. By accepting death, you learn how to live. Conclusion, weaving it all together. 15 reminders, 15 Stoic truths to whisper to yourself every day. I cannot control others, only myself. Difficulties strengthen me. Everything is temporary. I am responsible for my reactions. Today could be my last day. People's opinions do not define me. Happiness depends on virtue, not pleasure. I cannot lose what truly matters. Other people's success does not diminish my own. I cannot control how long I live, only how well. I must master myself before influencing the world. Wealth, fame, and power are not the measure of a good life. Time is my most precious resource. The world owes me nothing. Death is not to be feared, but to be understood. When practiced daily, these reminders do more than inspire. They transform. They slowly rewire your mind to face life with calm, courage, and clarity. They replace entitlement with gratitude, envy with inspiration, distraction with purpose. In a world of noise, these phrases are anchors. In a world of chaos, they are compass points. In a world obsessed with